Yeah. Roll call.
Mr. Chairman, to let the record reflect who is present at the moment, take the roll call, please. Board Member Keys. Here. Board Member Galvin. Board Member DeSolme.
Here.
Board Member Bieneme. Chairman Smith-Joseph.
Here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you very much. Approval of last minutes.
Move or pledge?
Oh, Pledge of Allegiance, I'm sorry. Who wants to lead us? Major?
I guess everybody's standing. Put your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Any motion to approve the last minutes?
So move.
Second.
Certain.
Anyone want to report now? No?
They're not here.
Thank you.
Now we have the items for review.
Executive Director.
Yeah, item 1.
Yes, I'm going to turn it over to our CRA consultant, Rasha Kaboom.
Good afternoon, Rasha Kamo. We received the beautification application from Nilu Inc., located at 13895 West Dixie Highway. They would like to put new signs for their current tenants and redo the parking lot, resurface it, put new posts, and so on. They have presented 3 bids for each of the projects, and this grant is only for $15,000. Nilu Inc. had received a beautification grant in 2009 to pressure clean and paint the building. They succeeded. They received their reimbursement and they passed all the permitting. The wait period to reapply has passed, and the requested improvements are not duplicative of what they had done before. There are no waivers required, and there are no code violations. The advisory committee had recommended unanimous approval as long as the scope was not the same as the previous one. And our attorney had checked the past guidelines and the past grant program, and we're not paying for the same thing again.
Okay.
We recommend approval.
Any questions? Do we have any presentation at this time now?
No, the applicant is here if you have any questions, and in the packet.
What is it for? I mean,
It's for new signs. If you look at the package.
No, I'm saying what kind of business are they?
There is.
I don't have a package.
They have a
That's why.
laundromat. They have a laundromat and a
Okay,
deli
Thank you.
or cafeteria.
Yeah, we didn't get nothing. Oh, it's a laundromat on West Dixie, you said?
A Super Shop food store, the Coin Laundry, and a Sunnyside Cafe.
Arthur, do you need this? I have it online.
Yeah.
I've got it online.
So move.
Second.
Approval.
Second.
Anyone wish to report it now? Items approved. Next item.
Thank you. Mr. Rod Harvey from HCT is here to present the audit for the fiscal year 13-14. Again, as you remember, when we took over for the past staff, they were auditing, the past 10 months from the previous management team, and then the last 2 months from the management team. The audit was done by the end of July, and we were able to use it to submit our annual report to the state and the county. But since we didn't have a meeting in August and September and October, we were full. This is the only time that we're able to present the audit to you, but it'll be done in a more timely fashion in the future. Mr. Harvey?
Good day. Thank you. Rod Harvey, engagement partner with HCT, firm of record, CPA firm of record for North Miami CRA Redevelopment Agency. The report that I am submitting to you today is for the period ended September 30, 2014. So I ask you to roll back in your mind a little bit over a year ago. As it relates to the statement of position, our total assets at the year ended September 30, 2014, $2.8 million. Most of those assets, $2.2 million, is made up of cash. Due to other governments, under the liability section, $385,000. And when you look at our net position, $2.4 million, which $1.8 million of that amount is made up of unrestricted funds. Also, I will move over to the statement of activities. Again, for the period September 30, 2014, the statement of activities is your revenues as compared with your expenditures. When we look at our total general revenue, $895,000, compared to our expenditures of $1.1 million, we ended up with a negative change in position of $239,000. So again, it decreased our beginning net position, so our ending net position was $2.4 million. Also, as the audit firm, we have current year management comments, but we are also required to update you as relates to our prior year findings. We did have one finding in the prior year, which would be September 30, 2013. That finding related to fund accounting and bookkeeping, and our current status on the prior year finding is it's implemented. We have two current year findings. First finding, number one, relates to total payroll expense as filed with federal and state agencies. Criteria: total payroll expense in the general ledger for the year should agree to forms filed with federal and state agencies. Our recommendation: we recommend that the agency prepare payroll reconciliations quarterly when filing federal and state forms. We also recommend the agency develop and implement policies and procedures to ensure proper reconciliation and supervisory reviews are performed before forms are filed. Management's response to our comment: management concurs with the recommendation. The agency faced a number of administrative challenges in successfully overhauling the agency's focus. This year's audit finding revealed one casualty that resulted from filing the prior staff's payroll. More importantly, now that the CRA is fully integrated in the City of North Miami's financial management and payroll system, a discrepancy like this is very unlikely to occur. Quarterly payroll reconciliation will be performed to ensure appropriate filing with federal and state agencies. Our management letter comment number 2 deals with weekly timesheets and authorization criteria. For any given payroll period, each employee is required to have a timesheet confirming hours worked. Timesheets are also required to have a sign-off by the executive director approving the hours worked and acknowledgement of that review. Recommendation: implement stronger internal controls over record keeping and maintenance. Management's response to our comment: management concurs with the recommendation. Management also notes that as of June 2014, the CRA had reorganized its staff and physical location, where operations were brought in-house to City Hall, which will strengthen internal controls. You should also have in your documentation our complete report from the prior year. We are in the process of beginning the initial steps to begin to get ready for the 2015 audit for the CRA. And if the chair so allows or makes time for, I can entertain any questions that you may have.
Any questions from the members?
You were speaking, we had some issues in the last year. So have we complied with what your recommendations were for last year?
For the 2013 audit, yes. As relates to our comments in the 14 audit, we will evaluate those during and as a part of our 15 audit, which is to begin soon.
So we've taken care of the problems we had in 2013.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
And just to go on that, we did work very closely with Mr. Harvey and Terry Henley, the assistant budget director, has taken into account, and we did respond to the management, the findings in our management letter, and we have turned, I would per se turn this thing around And we look forward to, there shouldn't be any issues. Everything is moved in-house, payroll, everything is in-house. We don't foresee any more problems or any more findings happening in the future with our CRA financial system.
Any recommendations from the attorney?
Mr. Chair, this is a report by your auditor, who also is the auditor for the city. It's just a report. You don't have to take any action on the item. I'm glad to see that the items that were raised in the 2013 audit have been complied with and that the CRA is moving forward.
Okay. No questions?
No.
Comments? All right.
Before we move to the next one, I just want to record to reflect that Board Member Bieneme and Board Member Galvin arrived at the meeting at 5:40. I'm the clerk tonight.
You guys are late. No cookies for you today. Item 2?
Item
Item
three
Oh,
is
item
the,
3.
report on the downtown CRA officer.
Yes. Board members, at the last meeting, we discussed the public safety officer, and we spoke with the police. Chief Burgess is here, and Major Bage, is here to discuss what we are proposing for this officer. I think their creativity in meeting the CRA's needs and the board members' needs is great, and it's a plus for us. Major Mage?
Good evening, members of the CRA. Just real quick to echo on the comments she made. We looked at the core of the CRA, and I believe you have this in there. They have this in their package. We looked at the core area of the downtown district.
I don't. What is this?
The map, I can describe the map that's depicted right there real quick. We looked at the core area for the downtown district, and currently the core area as depicted went from about 6th Ave to about Northeast 10th Ave, from 124 to 126th Street. And we also looked at the usage within that core area to develop a allotment for personnel to basically increase the presence of the police within that CRA area. Because one of the complaints we had received is the fear of crime. Even though crime is very low in the downtown area, the perception of crime is there. So we wanted to combat this. And in order to combat this, we looked at how we could best do it with the allotted funds the CRA had available. And we devised a schedule to run from Sunday through Saturday. And the majority of the hours would be worked from 9 to 2 during the week to cover the opening of the businesses, the opening of City Hall. If any problems occurred overnight, they could be handled in an expedited manner. And it would continue through the lunch crowd as the new restaurants and cafes and other items opened up in the downtown area. The officers would then come back from a 5 to 10 p.m. shift for the beginning part of the work week to cover the evening crowd that would come to the downtown area, with Friday and Saturday having extended hours to midnight and 1 a.m. respectively. And this was pretty much developed to cover all the usages within the downtown corridor and to also provide a high visibility within the area. We wanted the officer to have a small enough area where the business owner, the people coming to City Hall would feel that they actually could reach out and call for the officer by voice. They could reach out and touch the officer in the area. So we wanted a really confined area for the officer to work and to provide high visibility. And if there's any questions, comments?
Is,
Question. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
actually, go ahead.
On this item, I'm not clear. Vice Mayor Keys, was it an officer or was it we're going to work with 50 State?
I think we were going to discuss it.
Yeah.
And I left it up, we left it up
We
to
left,
the police.
oh, up to them, okay.
And I think one of the big issues was the cost of it, but
But
the
it's
cost
still
and the effectiveness.
123.
I think the police figured out how to do it economically with overtime staff, I believe.
No, with off-duty staff.
Off-duty
With-
staff, excuse me.
With off-duty staff, it actually gives us 77 hours a week, which we can work in the CRA district. We divided that 77 hours up amongst the 7 days of the week, amongst the hours which we saw the greatest need for the officer to be here. And that's how we came up with the 77 hours. It just divided the off-duty rate into the amount of hour, or the amount of money the CRA had allocated for the downtown officer.
Wow. Oh, okay, but from 9 till 2, we don't have any officers in the street in that area?
There are
And
officers.
would that be overlapping?
No, there are officers on the street. The CRA is not taking away from anything that's already there or augmenting anything that is already there. This is in addition to the officers that are already on the street. So there's already officers on the street 24/7 within the downtown area within the city of North Miami. These officers are assigned just to the geographic box that you have seen there to actually add extra presence
But-
and extra enforcement and extra response within the area.
So that person will be walking from 6th Avenue Northeast to
10th Avenue.
10th Avenue back and forth? I thought at the initial stage of it, it would be in the afternoon that we needed someone, maybe from the 5 to 10. And I'm not saying, I'm just asking questions. And then perhaps maybe Sunday, but I don't see from 9 to 2, it's,
Commissioner.
Get,
Well, let me add one point let me piggyback something to what Councilman just said. Especially weekend nights. I mean, you have the statistics. As far as crimes are concerned, our weekend nights, I'm talking about Friday, Saturday night, from midnight till about maybe 5 a.m. Is there an increase in the rate of crimes? Is there any reason why we do not even consider that?
We can consider that. We devised our allocation for when the most usage occurs in the downtown area. And the most usage in the downtown area, especially on a Friday or Saturday night, it starts to drop off. Midnight, 1 a.m. is when the usage starts to drop off. Mocha Cafe hires an off-duty officer for events that they have at the Mocha Cafe that extend past those hours. And besides Mocha Cafe and Billy's Pub are really the only two businesses that would stay open past 2 a.m. in the downtown corridor. So to basically give an officer for the whole corridor and equally divide that officer amongst the businesses and the usages within the corridor, we picked that time frame to cut it off at that 1 a.m. on Saturday. Now, as we go into the plan, as the weeks go on and the months go through, we can actually look at it and evaluate it as it goes on and push those hours back or push those hours ahead as needed. But we've noticed that as you get later into the night in the downtown, as it is today, not how it might be tomorrow or next month or next year, but as it is today, it really drops off after midnight, the usage in the downtown area. And if you wanted to know actual crimes, I can talk in specifics about crimes too. If you look at one crime, and a good crime to look at is the crime of robbery, because that's a very specific crime. You know exactly when that crime happened. Unlike crimes like burglary or vehicle burglary, sometimes they have large windows. If you look at just the robberies that occurred in the downtown district, 4 of them occurred on the day shift, or during the daytime hours, which is the 8 to 4, 1 in the afternoon hours, and only 2 occurred after midnight. And there was only 7 for the whole year within that downtown area.
That's for robberies only.
For robberies.
What about break-ins?
For vehicle break-ins?
No. I mean, businesses.
For business break-ins, I can tell you right now, if you give me 1 second to look, for burglaries, there was 5 burglaries. 3 of them were on day shift. And the thing with burglary is not a specific reported time. Your business may have been broken into overnight, and you come to realize that it got broken into in the morning when you come there. So that's part of the reason we had the 9 a.m. shift there. So when the business is open, anything that happened overnight could be reported, handled, and addressed in an expedient manner. In addition, we've gotten complaints from businesses in the CRA about people loitering in front of their businesses or behind their businesses when they come to open in the morning. And some of the businesses would really like to see that officer there in the morning when they first come to open to kind of set the tone for the rest of the day in the downtown corridor.
But the 5 people, that's for the whole year or that's for a month?
The chart that you see is based out for the whole fiscal
No,
year.
the mayor.
Oh, the
asked-
numbers that I gave you,
Yeah.
the stats, that's for year to date. That was from January
What?
1st of
Wow,
this
that's
year
good.
all the way through the end of October. I don't have the November numbers in there,
The officer-
but that was for the, and that's why I started off with, when I started off speaking about the downtown area,
That's
the
good.
crimes in the downtown area are relatively low, but it's the perception that people want to
The
have that.
perception, I
When they
got
go to
you.
Coconut Grove, they see the officer standing on the corner. You go to downtown Fort Lauderdale, you see the officer standing on the corner. So it gives a sense of security to the person coming to the downtown area, and that's really what we wanted to establish with the small area. And you asked about the officer walking. Primarily, they would walk. They could ride a Segway. They could possibly use a bicycle. If there was any type of inclement weather, any other type of operational constraints, they would still have their vehicle available to them.
Oh.
So it would not always be on foot, but we wanted them to be out there in the public, engaging the public, because part of this was for community engagement. We want them to walk in the businesses, talk with the business owners, and see what do they need from the police department, what resources can we give them crime prevention tips, and also give them crime trends that are going on in the area.
Hello?
That's, oh, great.
The crime is too
Go ahead.
low.
Thank you, thank you. I'm just so excited about this, having this police presence downtown. Two things, I'm hoping that you will also, you're showing this red, I'm sure that you're gonna be monitoring the parking lots behind the shops on 125th Street North, the alley. And
We go all the way to 126.
oh, okay, great. And the other thing that you did mention tonight or at the CRA advisory, which I think is terrific, is we have a lot of employees in the city that do not leave at 5 o'clock, especially during budget time. People are, we have a lot of dedicated employees. What?
I wouldn't say a lot, but
Well, we have employees that do not walk out at 5 and they walk out at dark. I've been here in
they
meetings.
walk out at 4:59 or 5:01. They don't walk out at 5.
Well, for the few that walk out a little bit later, and for me, when I walk out and it's dark and the doors are shut and nobody's around, I will feel really comfortable for me and our employees knowing that there is somebody out there, because walking and going out to the parking lot is a little scary when it's dark. So I think that is really a terrific asset for our employees. Thank
Very
you.
well so, Councilwoman. I just want to mention, he will be coordinating it. That's why I had him do the presentation, the scheduling of it, and more importantly, this is a flexible schedule that's been proposed for an entire year. What allows us to do is tailor it. So if something changes, a trend changes on a certain time frame, he has that ability on a weekly basis to tailor it. It shows 9 to 2, but also we can have this at nighttime if there's a trend at nighttime. But as you can see, when it comes down to commercial burglaries, that's a very low number of indication for a year to date when you're talking about we're starting pretty much the month of November. Our focus here, and I know it's been mentioned by everybody on the council, including your mayor, increase high visibility, increase high visibility. I attended a conference about 3 weeks ago. Thank you, City Manager. It was the International Association Chiefs of Police. The biggest emphasis on there was about increasing high visibility in the downtown area. It was in Chicago, Illinois. In their case here, they had 4 to 5 officers in districts on a corner. So on like the Northeast 6th Avenue and the West 60, they had 5 to 6 officers there. I mean, that's a beautiful setting. We can have cars and high visibility officers on every corner. But in reality here, it's the coverage of an entire zone, but to focus this officer just in that area that's been designated. The nice personal touch to it, I thank you, Sarah Russia, is knocking on the door when that business owner opens the door. And when they close, they have a face, they have a name, they have a number, and personalizing what their needs are and tailoring it to the city needs.
All right.
So I thank you, Robert, for the presentation as well as for the time. Thanks, Council.
Okay. What are we doing on this item? Is this nothing? Just a presentation?
You had approved the budget, so we were just presenting to you how we intend to make it happen.
Okay. Any reports from the attorney?
No report tonight, Mr.
Executive Director?
Just one update on the bus benches and the trash cans. Some of the delay was caused because the procurement manager had to make sure that the way we were dealing with this particular vendor was properly done and above board.
You talking about shelter buses, the bus
Yeah, for the
benches?
downtown benches, I know it's been discussed at the city level, but this is a project that was funded by
Not
the
just
CRA.
regular benches, shelter
No,
ones,
they are the ones that were approved in the downtown plan.
the shelter ones.
It'll be a combination. I can't tell you specifically which ones they are, but those are the ones that were approved in the downtown master plan for this area. I know they're stainless steel and they look very nice. The issue that we were having is that this particular vendor is the only one that makes it. And the new procurement manager has been able to determine that this can be a sole source a vendor. And the vendor has now told us that it'll take about 10 weeks to manufacture these particular benches and trash cans. Again, these were the ones that were in the downtown master plan that we're using, that was approved by the city council. So as soon as we hear from the vendor as to when, delivery is going to happen and so on, we will keep you informed as we move forward. The locations are going to be, for now, it's Northeast 125th Street between Northeast 4th and 10th Avenue. And so far, I have listed, we're putting new or replacing the benches that need to be replaced, 18 so far, and 34 trash cans.
Would be good to have them installed before our 90th anniversary.
We will do our best, sir.
Can you give me a list of those locations?
Sure, I will email you a map if you'd like.
Like you do the same for me too, please.
That's okay. Public comment?
Any public comment? No? Any old business? New business?
No, sir.
Adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.